Today, my opinion is to have better data of good quality, but lower, not great values. And some companies are, okay, we want a lot of data, but okay, it's better to have good data.
Today, I have the pleasure to welcome in the studio Johan Bierebeeck, who is country manager at Graydoncreditsafe. We're going to talk about data. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Jerome.
It's a pleasure to have you. We are partnering together on the LuxembourgOfficial Top 150, and thank you very much, because when we started the initiative to really dig into the data of the country, we had to crawl the lbr.lu, and since we have the partnership, I have to say life is much easier, because together you can deliver to us those lists extremely fast. So thank you so much for the collaboration. And my first question to you is, how is high quality data becoming a competitive advantage for companies?
Indeed, what I want to say about that is that the good quality of the data is very important. Why? Because, okay, if the data is not of good quality and less quality, gain you can make using good data is lost a little bit, and you have to rework the data and to analyze it. So today, my opinion is to have better data of good quality, but lower, not great values. And some companies are, okay, we want a lot of data, but okay, it's better to have good data. Okay.
Specific data points. For example, here we talk about risk assessment for onboarding new clients. It's profit.
It means the good have good financials, okay? Yes. And financials, normally you have the financial statement of the company is published, and most of them are well-structured documents. Means you have well-structured data, means that you can do a lot of that, and there is no doubt about the information that is in the annual accounts. So, okay, it's published, it's the responsibility of the company also. So, okay, that is data that you can use and where you can do a lot of things with. You can launch model on that to see what is the predictive, how will the company be in the future. You can also see if the company is resilient, means, okay, what is the buffer? We had COVID 2-3 years ago, and suddenly there was an impact on the market, and okay, the question was, how long can a company survive with the cash buffer they have on the balance sheet? So if you have good financial statements, you can do a lot of things. But that's the reason why it's good to have better data than more data.
Yeah, and if you take the example of 360 Cross Media, we have learned through this work that the most interesting companies are not the one that advertise. I can give you many examples. That's how I got to know G-Core, because I realized there was a company in content who had raised 60 million euro, Faymonville. Not many people know them. They do some trailers for trucks, very profitable, very old company, incredibly dynamic. So these people don't advertise. They don't need to. You find them through data mining, and then of course you can identify the real heroes of the economy. But of course my question is about the data acquisition. What I don't understand is, normally my balance sheet is public. So anybody should go on lbr.lu and be able to take it in a click. The reality is, there's a new version this year on LBR. It's more difficult than ever. There's those CAPTCHA, and most of the time my computer stops before delivering. So basically my question is, how can we use APIs to quickly get access to public information?
LBR has an API, that's, I agree completely. Even two versions, I think. One to have what you can find on the homepage, the general information, the company, legal form, when the registration was done, and also the NACE code, the activity code of the company.
Very primitive info.
Yeah. And then normally you have another API where you can find another aspect of the API where you can find the journal of publication. Okay, and there you can also find information of what is published during the day. There is also a PDF published, and the PDF that is published is what the act of the deed of the notoriety. And to analyze these documents, normally it's done by human beings. You read the document, but you can use new technologies to do that. For example, AI can be used to do that, but let's say that like that, you can do 80% is okay, and there is also 20% that you have to do manually by a human being that has to read, okay, is the result okay, yes or not.
So So we talk about, of course, the balance sheet, annual accounts. Sorry, we talk about the publication of administrators and all the changes.
It means all information about the company. It means the directors who can sign for the company,
For example,
who are the shareholders, depend on the legal form of the company. What is the official address of the company? What is the goal of the company also? So there are a series of publications on LBR that can be very interesting for example, for risk management. Because on basis of the activity of the company, the risk is high or low. For example, well known is that, for example, restaurants in the financial sector have a higher risk level than other companies because there is a great risk for bankruptcy problems, financial problems, and all what goes with it. Also with what you already explained in a few blocks is that the activity as a restaurant is not that easy today.
Super difficult, of course. There's a lot of risk. I think the main information, of course, is when people do not publish their annual account. That really is the biggest red flag. It still happens. I found one this morning. And of course, it always tells you nothing is not clear. At least it's a messy management, but maybe they just don't want people to look at the accounts fast enough. But of course, once you've got all this info, I think the business of your company is to pick those info all day long, all year long. And this is how we basically can get all the information in one click from your database after. But how can people basically manage large volumes of data and keep them, of course, compliant, accurate, and I would say actionable?
There are different ways to do that, but automation and the technology we have on the market today helps a lot. In the past, what we did was, you hired some data stewards, people reading the deeds, collecting the info manually. It was very intensive. I remember when I worked at Editus, we had 8 data stewards to collect information. With the help of technology, RPA, for example, you can automate processes. Means that you can automate the process to get the PDF, for example.
Well, we did everything on Python. 4 years ago, and Python was really good.
For example, you can use Python or R, depending on what you want to do with information. You can use this technology to extract, collect information that you find in the documents. The condition and one of the elements is what is very important is the fact of the document is well structured or non-structured. The more non-structured the document is, the more difficult it is to collect data into the document.
But then maybe AI can surpass this difficulty because it's normally good enough to understand the context.
To give you an example, we made a project this summer, and the project was to collect the participations of a company, especially in the geopolitical situation where we are today, to know, we have a lot of companies in Luxembourg, what are their linkages with the foreign, the neighbors, neighbor countries, but also worldwide. What linkages they have on shareholdership, but also on the board of directors. And so what we did, we start working on the annex of the annual accounts using AI. You take the prompt, you type what are the participations of the company and in which country they are, what is the percentage, and you try to do that stuff. I have to tell after, we tried, we test, and I have to say that the result is rather satisfactory. Good, the result is good. The result is good. But you still see that time to time, the process don't give you the right information.
You need a human to check it.
For example, we did 2 aspects, the participations and the number of employees in the company. Before what was happening was a data steward was reading the document. Today we do it with AI. And he goes through it and he collects the information. And what we see is that I use also 80-20. Let's say 80% is completely correct, and there's 20% where you need a data steward to verify the information, yes or no.
Of course.
Can be the point, can be the virgule that you have that can time to time mistake or some information is not complete.
But much better than Python, where if you were just moving the field by 2 centimeters, Python was missing it completely. So AI surely is a good direction. A last question about the beneficial owners. We know that a few years ago, I think 3 years ago, I could go and see all the beneficial owners of every company. It was super interesting. And then I think somebody sued, I don't know who, but now we don't have access to this info. Of course, you did collect 3 years ago, so you still have a lot of data from the past. And as you said, in some balance sheets or some annual accounts, you do find some beneficial owners.
Yeah,
what do you think? Is this going to be public again, or is this now?
I don't think it will be public again.
Wow.
I think you can do try with some legal argumentation, because if you go and look to the documents that were published at the time, for example, by the European Commission, normally someone working for example, a financial sector, and to help them to be compliant and to help them in the job, today you can't. You can't do it. So doesn't mean you cannot. There are ways to know who's the beneficial owner of a company. Okay, starting from the shareholdership of a company, you can determine by deduction often determine who is the beneficial owner of a company. I give you an example. If you have an SARL in Luxembourg, they are obliged to publish les associés. Okay.
First in the statute, and then
after that, if you see that the associé is someone who has 50% of the shares of a company, at that moment you know he is a beneficial owner.
Absolutely.
So it means that on basis of that you can, by deduction, rebuild it, but for some companies it's more difficult.
As soon as you go
SA, or as soon as you have a foreign shareholder, a company, and then you have to go up. But okay, we also armed for that, because okay, we are not working only in Luxembourg. We have 204 countries in our database. Okay, and we our company Graydoncreditsafe is present in 16 countries. I call it home countries, where we have our own data factory. So it means that if you have a foreign company, you can link and see there what is the information, and you can rebuild let's say the register of beneficial owners. But okay, it's by deduction. Means that it's not 100% waterproof, let's say it like that. There are mistakes in it, but it can be a very good base for companies confronted with the regulation, the European regulation, to look at the starting point to build up and to know who is behind the company.
Yeah, it's really funny, because you remind me of a project we did. You know that on LinkedIn you can hide your connections if you want, and we did a little experiment where we went through hundreds of thousands of accounts, and basically if you are connected with a guy and you hide your connection but the guy is not, then I know you're connected, and we could rebuild whole networks of people who are hiding it. It's the same principle. You find the network from the outside. Well, I thank you very much. I hope that people will start using data more as a way to grow their business, to get a good relationship with their new clients, because as we know, it's a hyper-compliant world. And at the moment, a lot of compliance officers prefer to refuse a new provider or a new client rather than do the research. You are here to provide accurate information so that we don't eliminate players without research. At least we know, are there reliable providers or not, and I think it's very important for the economy. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jerome.